Hello everyone, welcome to Wind Down Wednesdays. I'm your host Paula Taylor and this is episode 79. So we're back live tonight. We actually had 2 weeks off. I had 1 week where I couldn't get my Wind Down Wednesday to post when I was on my mini vacation. And then last week I ended up posting the pre-recorded. And I was kind of relieved to have a couple weeks off. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So as I stated, I was a little bit relieved that I ended up not doing a show last week because I've been really deep in transformation. And I have no notes tonight. I mentioned something in that last show about how I was trying to let go of that need to have that kind of security blanket of having notes. And the way that this usually works, as I mentioned in the short video I posted earlier today, is that a topic usually just kind of flows to me intuitively. And a lot of times sometimes it'll come like Sunday or Monday, sometimes it comes Tuesday. And I woke up this morning and I was like, I got nothing. And I started thinking about a couple different things, and then I started thinking about transformation, and then I started thinking about this rebirth that I've been going through, that we talked about rebirth a few weeks ago, and how sometimes when you're in that rebirth process, when you're deep into that transformation, words kind of fail you. And so what came to me intuitively was to be in flow, to be spontaneous. And what came to me was, this is a really powerful full moon that we're kind of just passing. And you can read more about that. The researcher in me was like, oh, I should take some notes and talk about that. And then that intuitive voice came back and was like, no, you're doing a card pull. And I was like, oh, but this isn't a card pull show. And we just did a card pull. And I kind of got a little bit in my head about it. And then I was like, no, I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to go with my flow here. So the full moon is and can be a time of kind of gathering power, of really being in your full power. And this is a wolf moon. This is the first moon, full moon of the new year. And so I guess there's some extra kind of transformative things going on. I saw somewhere that it was a full moon in Cancer, and none of that is my area of expertise. So again, feel free to research that if you'd like. But what I will say is that I feel that deep transformation. And I don't really have words to talk about it right now. And that's okay. That's why we have intuitive tools like tarot cards, like sound, things that we don't necessarily need words for. And I'm a very verbal person. I love words. I mention that sometimes on the show. I love doing the guided meditations. And I find that when I get into a flow of just letting my little ego mind get out of the way and kind of channeling that bigger divine self, the words usually come. So we're not going to do a tarot pull every week. I know we're doing 2 in a row. And again, I got a little bit in my head about that, but I really felt strongly that that's what I wanted to do tonight. So I'm not going to talk a lot about my history of tarot or how I pull cards. I talked a little bit about that last week. I talked a lot about that in the first tarot card pull that I did a couple months ago. So you can always go back and watch or listen to those. And I talked in that episode quite a bit about kind of how I got into tarot and what I think it's useful for. I think it's especially useful when you're in this period that I'm talking about, when you're in a transformation, or when you're kind of at a loss, you're not quite sure what's going on. I can feel what's going on and I love it. It's amazing, but I don't really have words for it yet. So we're going to pull some cards for the collective for this transformative full moon, because I know I'm not the only one in this transformative phase right now. I've seen that kind of reflected in social media. I've seen a lot of people talking about the transformative power of this full moon. I actually put my crystals out to charge in the full moon. I've never done that before. I almost always use sound to clear my crystals. And I just felt called to bring them out into the moonlight and let them charge. So there's something about this new moon or this full moon in particular that's kind of got me even more in love with the moon than usual. I've always loved looking at it, but I can actually feel the energy of it. So we're going to harness that energy and kind of do a collective card pull for transformation for this full moon. And so I'm going to use, as I did last week, this Osho Zen Tarot card deck. And actually, it doesn't say tarot deck. It says the Transcendental Game of Zen on there. And I love the Zen imagery in this. I love the wording, and this deck is really new to me. So it's funny, when I did the poll last week, or that aired last week, I never looked at the book, and then I went back and kind of read the book after the fact, and a lot of it was really different from what I got out of the cards. And what that can really show you is the power of your intuition, the power of connecting in this moment. Where are you right now? I could pull the same card 2 days in a row and have a completely different response, or see something different in the card. And that's why these cards are so powerful. They're just a really powerful way to connect with your intuition, to kind of pull some things out of the subconscious that need to come into your conscious mind that you maybe haven't been able to see. So I'm not sure. I think we'll pull 3 is what's coming to me tonight, but we'll kind of see as we get into the flow. Like I said last episode, I like to let the cards kind of speak to me and tell me when we're done and kind of where we're going. So I've already shuffled these with the intention of doing this collective full moon pull. I am going to just kind of reset my intention and gently shuffle them a little bit so they don't make too much noise for the people listening to the podcast later. And then, as I said last week, usually the first card is kind of like the subject. This is what the reading's going to end up being about. And I like to pull intuitively, so it does take me a minute or two, or maybe 30 seconds to kind of zero in on the area of the deck and zero in on the card. But I've always done it this way ever since I started pulling tarot, and it just works really well for me. All right. I'm going to laugh if we get the same cards we did last time. We did not. I have gotten this card before, though. So I'm going to show this to the camera, then I'll describe it for the podcast. So this is a 2 of clouds. And if you remember from our last reading, clouds is kind of the mental space. That's where a lot of that worry and that ego mind kind of occupies. And this card, at the bottom, it says schizophrenia. And then it has a person essentially stretched between 2 cliffs. Their hands are on one cliff, their feet are on the other cliff, they're face down into this abyss. You can't see the bottom. There's clouds there kind of indicating like that this is something that's so high up you can't really see the ground. And then there's kind of a couple of birds flying above this person. And again, so this card says schizophrenia. And it sounds a little scary, right? Like, ooh, this doesn't seem like something I want to do a reading about, but I get a really clear meaning from this card. And like I said, I've pulled this card before, and to me, this is about feeling trapped, feeling caught, feeling being, first of all, there's 2 worlds, right? There's 2 worlds going on. And we're kind of stretched really thin because we're trying to occupy both of these worlds. And only you know what that means to you, what the 2 worlds are for you. Sometimes for me, I'm caught between like that intuitive flow and really letting myself be who I am in that way and step into my power and flow and be intuitive. And then that kind of like fearful, rational mind that says like, oh no, I have to be in control. I have to know what's coming next. And when you do look at the book for this card, because I've seen it a couple times, essentially what it says is that the only way to get out of this is to fall down into this abyss. And it's like taking a leap of faith, essentially. And so what's coming to me intuitively here, beyond kind of what I just said, is I mentioned I'm in this powerful transformative phase. I think this is we have this opportunity right now to really change the way that we've been living, to change the way that we've been allowing ourselves to be controlled by our fears or by our worries, by taking this leap of faith. But it's scary because we don't know what happens. We don't know what's at the bottom. But the only way to really know is to let go. If you look at this person on this card, they're actually dipping down. They've got their hands kind of above their shoulders. Their feet are on this other cliff. And you can tell they just can't quite get there. They're like, I don't want to jump. I'm not sure. But they're not going to be able to stay there forever. So when we can choose to take that leap, when we can choose to let go of whatever it is that's pulling us apart. Schizophrenia is about fracturing, right? It's about being kind of pulled in different directions. And when we can let go of that with awareness, with courage, then we will soar down rather than kind of gripping till the last minute and, oh, I can't finally hold on anymore, and falling in fear. We have the opportunity. That's what this reading is about. We have the opportunity to choose to let go and to fly, to soar down to whatever it is that's waiting below. And chances are what is waiting below for us is something that will actually gently catch us. This is about transforming, about moving forward in your life to whatever's meant to come next. But it requires a lot of courage to do that. It requires courage to let go of whatever those patterns are that you've been holding in yourself for however many years, or to let go of that pull between, like for me, it's the pull between like this rational kind of mind and this fearful worrying mind, and then this intuitive flow. And it's like, first of all, why do I have to choose? Can't I be both? What if I let go of them both? Maybe something integrated would emerge out of that was greater than either one of those two things that I feel like don't belong together. So maybe this is also going to be about integration. Let's pull the second card. I'm not sure. I think we're doing 3 cards, so I'm not sure what this second card is really going to be tonight. I guess we'll find out, because we're being in flow and we're being intuitive. I saw this card actually when I was shuffling earlier. I kind of flipped the deck over and I saw this card and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I put it back in, and then apparently it was meant to come back to me. So I'm going to show this card to the camera and then I'll describe it. So this is a water card. You can see the blue there. And this is, I'm not totally used to the verbiage of this deck yet, but this is a card that in the other decks would be considered like a knight, or a in my vision quest, it's like mother, father, kind of daughter, son. It's not the minor arcana, it's not the major arcana, it's the higher cards of the minor arcana, I guess. And I don't want to get too technical about that, but essentially this is a little bit more of a power card than the one we just pulled. So this card says healing on the bottom. It's a really beautiful card, and I'm going to try to describe it the best I can, and then I'll show it again. So there's lotus flowers kind of throughout this card. There's the outline of a person, and at the center of their heart is this kind of glowing lotus flower. And then there's 2 hands superimposed over the person that you can kind of see through. What's coming through for me, especially in terms of what we just talked about, was what I just said right before I pulled this card, which was this idea of integration. So if you've been caught between 2 worlds, whatever that means to you, whether it's between fear and love, whether it's between 2 jobs, it could be between 2 parts of your family or 2 parts of yourself, whatever that schizophrenia is, that schism, that split in yourself is. I talked about letting go and integrating those things, right? And then here we have a card of integration, a card of healing, a card of laying on of hands is what is coming to me here. This is a Zen deck, but I'm getting like Reiki vibes off of this, of somebody holding their hands to heal. And then I see all these beautiful lotus flowers, and to me, all of this comes together at the heart. So this integration that we're looking for is going to happen in the heart space. This is an integration of releasing the fear that's associated with whatever that split is, diving in, letting ourselves soar down into the clouds through this first card, into this abyss that we don't know where it's coming to. And to me, the second card is telling us that we're actually diving into the heart. We're diving out of the mind and into the heart. We're diving out of that rational, worried ego mind and into the expansiveness of the heart. And that will bring healing, as is stated on this card. So I'm going to pull one more card and then we'll see. Again, I was really guided to pull 3 and I'm not sure where we're going, so we might pull more, but let's see what happens when we pull the 3rd card here. Let's see what comes through from our intuition, from our subconscious. And as I stated last week, if you look at this card or you listen to the description and something comes up for you that's completely unrelated to what I'm saying, that is your message. I am speaking what's coming through my intuition. That's coming through my filter. And if it speaks to you, absolutely let it come. But if you feel something else coming through for these cards, then that is the message that's meant for you. Interesting. So this card, this is the 8 of Rainbows. And I believe I just read this. I think rainbows are kind of affiliated with Earth. And what I read, and I just read through the book the other day when I did a reading for myself. And what they said about rainbows was like in other decks, like in my Vision Quest deck, that would be Earth. But they chose rainbows because they wanted to, first of all, make Earth less, like some of us think it's boring, like, ooh, it's brown Earth. Ugh, that's not very exciting. And there's such a huge spectrum when we're in our bodies, when we're grounded. And then the other reason they said they chose rainbows is because the rainbow kind of goes up from the earth to the sky. And so rather than this just being about Earth or the physical body or whatever you pull from that, this is really, it's a much more integrative card. We're getting a lot of integrative cards tonight. So I'm going to show this to the camera. It's the 8 of Rainbows. At the bottom it says ordinariness. And I have some things to say about that already, but let me describe this. So it looks like there's some trees in here. There's maybe a cherry blossom tree, this pink blossoms. There's one with white blossoms. There's some flowers. This person's kind of in what looks like maybe a pasture between these two, or a little meadow between these two trees, and then they're carrying a basket and collecting flowers. And they're kind of dressed casually, like in jeans and maybe a denim shirt and a floppy hat, like they're out for the day just enjoying the sun. And this is a 3-card pull. This is the last card. So see, I was doubting myself about that, but this is our last card for tonight. So what I'm getting from this is actually, I had this visceral feeling in my body from this card, which is so interesting because it says ordinariness. And that's what is calling me. So what I'm getting from this card is that if we can take this leap of faith and we can step into healing through integration, then every single moment of our lives, even the quote unquote ordinary moments, becomes a beautiful opportunity for connection. The person in this card is connected to themselves. They're connected to the earth. They're connected to the world around them. They're enjoying the ordinariness of this day, which is so beautiful. This is a beautiful card. It's a beautiful day. There's beautiful trees here and flowers, and this person is collecting the flowers. And what's coming to me about this is this idea that when we get into flow, when we become integrated, when we claim our power, when we call our energy home, all of the things that we've been doing for the past probably 6 weeks, we don't ascend to some mountaintop where we can't connect to other people anymore. That's not the goal of this work. That's not the end game of this work. The end game of this work, the integration of this spiritual work, is to be fully present in the beauty that surrounds us in this physical life. To be fully integrated, to be connected to the earth, to the people around us, to the moments in our lives, to be in the present. This is somebody who's completely in the present moment, collecting flowers, enjoying their day, not thinking about what's coming next, not worried about what happened earlier, just being fully present, being fully integrated. They let go of the cliff. They took that leap of faith down into the abyss. They allowed the healing to happen that came from that leap. They allowed that invisible, beautiful hand of that life force, that divine energy that we tap into every week, to light up their heart, to integrate these seemingly disparate, separate parts of themselves. And the reward is ordinariness, is beauty in ordinariness. The reward is finally fully appreciating the everyday moments, being in the present moment, being integrated, not being triggered by traumas of the past, not worrying about what's going to happen in the future, but being fully present in the moment, seeing the beauty, collecting that beauty, picking flowers, collecting that beauty, and just being connected. That's what I get from this card. And what a transformative reading to go from feeling split inside in whatever that means for you, or feeling pulled between two worlds, whatever that means for you, taking the leap of faith into that abyss of healing. And it is a leap of faith. Healing can be difficult. There's a lot of shift that happens. Letting your power light up, letting your power integrate, pulling all of those disparate parts of yourself back to your center, to your heart space, to that generator of energy that's in your heart space. And then reaping the benefit of that, which is just living a beautiful life. Just enjoying being in the present, enjoying being in flow and being spontaneous and not having notes for your Wind Down Wednesday. No wonder I was guided to be spontaneous tonight. So let this speak to you in whatever way it does. Maybe you identify with everything I said. Maybe there's one thing that stood out to you that you want to think a little bit more about, or journal a little bit more about, or look more into. Maybe a totally different message came through for you upon looking at or hearing the descriptions of these cards. This is a tool. This is an intuitive tool. And it can be a really powerful tool, especially when we're in transformation, and especially if we're getting a little bit triggered by fear and we're not quite sure where we're going next, or we're not quite sure how to talk about what we're going through. I have a visceral feeling in my body from doing this reading. That last card actually brought me to tears just looking at it. I felt the message of that card without necessarily having to put it in words. And that's what this intuitive journey, that's what this spiritual journey is about: reconnecting to your body, reintegrating the energies that you've given away, or that you've left in places that you've sent to the future. And then just being. This is not about doing, this is about being. Just being in that everyday, ordinary moment and noticing how beautiful it is. Noticing how powerful it is to have your energy with you in the present moment and to be in flow. So as I said in the little video that I posted earlier today, I don't have anything in mind for the meditation tonight, other than I know we're going to do some sound, and I have the bowl here for that. And so let's just see what happens tonight. Let's be spontaneous. Let's enjoy the ordinariness of sitting down and connecting together, of breathing together, of becoming fully present in the body, and then just letting ourselves be integrated, letting ourselves enjoy it. So let's meditate together. So for this meditation, just be comfortable. Whatever position calls to you. If you'd like to lay down, if you feel like you might fall asleep, that's fine. This is a gentle meditation. We did a really powerful meditation a couple of weeks ago. That Calling Your Energy Home meditation is really powerful. I encourage you to go back and repeat that. I've done that a few times myself. But now we're kind of integrating, and integrating can be gentle. We've called this energy home. We've moved some of the stagnation, opened some of the contraction into expansion. And then sometimes it's a little bit like, oh, where do I go from here? What do I do with all this new flow? How do I integrate this energy? So that's what we're going to do tonight. Get comfortable, lie down, sit up, get a blanket, get a little mug of tea if you'd like. And then without doing anything special, don't change your breathing tonight for the moment. Just breathe. Just notice how you're breathing. Notice how your body feels. Notice if anything feels tight or tense. Notice if you're uncomfortable. Switch positions if you need to. And just notice how the ordinariness of checking in with your body becomes extraordinary when you're fully present. How does it feel to come home to your body? Perhaps you spent all day or the last few days in the mental space. Call that energy back into your body. You can place your hands on your belly if you'd like, maybe one above the other, that cave of the sacral and solar plexus chakras. And again, don't alter your breathing here. Just breathe normal and just notice. Notice how you feel. Move around if you'd like to, just coming fully present into the body here. And then as you're ready, place your hands at the bottom of your belly, if you'd like, and take 3 deep oxytocin breaths, breathing in through the nose, letting that belly float out. And then sighing that breath out with an audible ha sound. Do that 2 more times. Bringing that body out of the sympathetic, out of that fight, flight, or freeze mode and into the parasympathetic, into ease, into relaxation, into your natural state of being, your ordinary state of being, which is ease, which is relaxation, which is how we're meant to be, but we lose that connection to our ease through trauma, through giving energy away, through developing patterns of holding and stagnation and contraction. So invite your body to come back into ease here. And if there's any energy you'd like to call back, you can do that briefly. We did that a couple weeks ago, just calling energy from the past, from the future, calling the energy that you've given away to other people. It deserves to be home with you. Letting go of any energy you're holding for someone else. And then as you let go, gently down into the earth for the highest good. Anything you release, you always release to be recycled for the highest good. Just set that intention now. Find any areas of contraction in the body, any holding, any stagnation, and just set the intention to release that, to let that go down into the earth, to be recycled for the highest good. And just be really gentle with this. And then as you're ready, you can allow that crown chakra to open, the top of your head. Invite in that beautiful universal life force energy, that chi or ki, that prana, that divine light, that unconditional love, all words for the same energy. Invite that in through the top of your head. Let it flow into your brain. Let it flow into your skull and your scalp, into your jaw, into your face and neck. Let it come into your throat, into your shoulders and upper arms, flowing down each arm into your elbows, down the forearms, into your wrists and hands. Allow this beautiful light, this unconditional love to flow into your chest and upper back. Let it come into your belly and mid-back, your low belly and low back, into the hips and the pelvis, down through the thighs, into the knees, flowing down through the lower legs, into the ankles and feet, all the way down into the earth. And then as you breathe in, draw that beautiful, rich, dark earth energy up through your feet, into your legs and your pelvis, all the way up into your heart space. And let that earth energy and that divine energy meet in the heart space. You can place your hand or hands on your heart if you'd like. This is our center for integration, this heart space. And the cave, the solar plexus and the sacrum. But for today, we're focusing on the integration of the heart. So notice how you feel in that heart space. How does your physical body feel? Is your chest tight? Does it feel like you're holding something in your chest? Do you feel like you have walls up blocking energy from coming into your chest? Allow those to relax, even if it's just for this meditation. Let energy move in the heart. All of this beautiful energy that we've been powering ourselves up with, your own energy that you've called back, your own energy that is flowing now, that was perhaps not moving, that was stuck before. Let it flow in the heart. Feel this integration, this flow of energy in the heart space. Feel how your heart connects to your throat. Let that movement of energy move up into the throat as well. Let it move up into the head, into the third eye, between the eyebrows and the center of your forehead. Let it move down now into the belly, the upper and lower belly, that solar plexus and sacral chakra, the cave. Let it move down to the base of your spine and into the legs and feet. Just feel movement in your entire body now. Let this energy move. Let this energy reintegrate itself into all the cells of your body, into your organs. Let it come into your brain, into your neurons, into the nervous system itself, down through the spinal cord and out into the nerves that innervate all of the organs of your body, that allow you to feel and to move. Let it come into the muscles and the skin and the bones, fully integrating with no effort here, completely in flow. Allowing this integration to happen, just getting out of the way and allowing this movement to come, allowing this communication that's meant to exist between all parts of your body and your mind, your emotions and your spirit. Let everything become one now. No separation between the physical and emotional bodies, no separation between the emotional and mental bodies, no separation between any levels of your being, no separation between the etheric body, the auric body, all of these energetic fields, the chakras, the meridians. No need to know what these words even mean. Just set the intention of integration. Let everything become one. Let everything flow and communicate as it's meant to. Let yourself get out of the way and allow this to happen. And then stay with this. Stay in this integration. Keep setting the intention. I allow full integration on all levels of my being, in all versions of my being, in all versions of myself, past and future, in all versions of my being, in any different dimension I might exist in. Integration, full integration, in all the versions of myself, on all levels of my being. Hey, 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 oh, 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 and affirm with me out loud. I am a fully integrated being of light and love. I flow into each moment with ease. I am a fully integrated being of love and light. I flow into each moment with ease. I am a fully integrated being of love and light. I flow into each moment with ease. And so it is. Spend the last moment or two here, noticing any shifts, feeling fully integrated, however that looks for you in this moment. And as you're ready, you can slowly begin to move your body, calling yourself back. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, roll your wrists if you'd like. Maybe move your head around, shrug your shoulders. This fully integrated state of being is our natural state of being. When we can get out of our own way, when we can release that holding and that stagnation, when we can call our energy home and let go of depletion, when we allow all of that energy to integrate, we let go of the push and the pull, the seemingly disparate parts of ourselves. We see that we're all one. All of the layers of ourself are divine, are fully integrated. Satnam. The truth of your identity is that you are a fully integrated being of love and light. Feel that in your body. Feel that in your soul. Recognize the truth of that statement. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Have a fully integrated rest of your evening and week. And I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesday.